Hello, beautiful people. Thanks for coming in here and spending a little time to cultivate your higher frequency, to sustain it, to remember your greatness. Today, I want to talk about true presence. This is a card that I made. It's called Presence, and I found this. I don't know who to give credit to, but I got to read this to you. The secret of life is not about knowing what to say or do. It's not about doing love or loss right. The secret is simply to show up. The secret to life is to simply show up. I am amazed by my dog lately. Let me tell you a story about this. I was leading a meditation today for the Enlightened World Network, and I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do, but at the last minute, I found a poem that I wrote, and then I was just going to do some light language. So I'm sitting there, and I was running late, so I have my pajama bottoms on. And I have this shirt, but then I have my pajama bottoms on. So I start guiding the meditation, and I'm like, all right, so here I am. And guess what happens? The dog, Max, starts scratching at my door. And during the meditation, during the light language, during when everything is just supposed to be, just super quiet and perfect. And he keeps scratching, and I'm like, I've got to go open the door. But I'm sitting here in my pajama shorts. And finally, I was just like, okay, so I pull my pajama shorts down a little bit. I walk to the door, let him in, and he just comes in, wants to be pet, and he just sits on the couch next to me. He just showed up. After the meditation, I was really graced the awareness of when we are in meditation, when we have those little interruptions, like my dog just feeling the awareness to show up in my meditation. It helps us with the big interruptions in real life, right? In active life, right? 3D living kind of thing. So one of the most important things we can do for ourselves and for each other is to show up. Now, I don't know about you, but I have some family members that show up in a very grandiose way. There's fanfare and beauty, and things have to be like a certain way. And sometimes I feel like I'm not enough because of it. Sometimes I feel like I need something more prepared, or I need to, prepare something beautiful, and what I'm learning in life with my own practice and with remembering who I am is that the most beautiful thing that you can show up with is your presence, the presence of your source self. Another story here. Oh, it looks like Max is going to come to the door again. 1 second. Do you want to come in, Max? Come on in. Oh, here he comes. So, another story for you is my dad. My dad, I loved being around him. He was funny, he was fun, he was a stinker, he was an alcoholic, he was a lot of things. But I loved being with him. I loved just sitting with him. I loved just talking to him. It didn't even matter what we did. I just loved being around him. And he didn't have to do anything to make that happen for me. I really just enjoyed his presence. And he died about 5.5, almost 6 years ago now. And it's interesting because I still feel his presence with me. Your presence is the biggest gift that you can give someone, because it transcends dimensions and veils, transcends the body. So while people may like the gifts or the fanfare or the beauty you create in their lives or they create in your life, that's all transient. That's all gonna go and be very missed to some people. But what about not being missed because you never left? What about cultivating the presence of Source that you are so strongly that someone can feel it beyond your passing out of your body? To me, that is the biggest gift that you can give someone. And that is what I strive to do. My dad gave me that gift of presence, of unconditional love, even when he was down and to outside people would, you would see that his life was broken. This was a broken, sad, depressed man. Yet he still had a sparkle, he still had light, he still shined that essence of Source self. And that was his legacy to me. When he died, he had literally $100 left to his name. He lived in my house for the last few months. Literally everything could fit in a room this size by 10 by 12. And he had liquidated everything and everything was done, gone. $100 left. And that was to go toward, some end of life thing we had to pay. Some people really like to get an inheritance of money from their parents. I got an inheritance of presence, an inheritance of Source energy. And that, to me, is the biggest legacy and the biggest gift he could have given me. So now, when I think about, am I prepared to show up for a meditation? Am I prepared for these videos? Am I prepared? The biggest thing that I can give you guys, the biggest thing that I can give my audiences when I play music or lead a meditation or show up for my kids is that presence. It's not the doing. It's the presence. It's the holding space of unconditional love. It's being willing to step into a situation, say, I'm here. I'm here. Now what? And the beauty of that is that you know exactly what comes next. You know what to do next. The words come, the song comes, the support comes. You just know what's next. So when people talk about being confident or trusting, I've taught a lot of people like self-confidence and having confidence with their voice and speaking voice and singing and stuff. Confidence comes from the psychological realm of our nature, our humanness. Trust comes from really cultivating that root chakra and that everything's gonna be okay. But knowingness comes from that connection to that fractal of Source that you and I are. So there's confidence, there's trust, and there is deep knowing. And so that's what I've been on the journey to learn and to be and to remember, to know, to show up and just know what's next. To me, that is the biggest gift you can give someone. And life gets very, very simple. And so as I reach almost 50, oh my God, I'm going to be 50 in a month. I'm really contemplating what that means to be 50 in this body, but also to be an infinite being and also to be showing up with grace every day and to be ageless. How do I step into the grace of agelessness within this 3D time warp where I'm 50? And so I'm stepping into every day, just asking life to get more and more simple and more abundant. Do you think those things contradict themselves, abundance and simplicity? I think they go hand in hand. Because the more I know my sense of abundance, the less I need to manipulate and control and things like that. I just wake up and I connect in. I am my source self. Life is simple. I know that each step I take is supported in source energy. And I know that I'm going to be abundant in every step I take. An abundance in health, an abundance in love, an abundance in financial reality. It's all just there. So I just moved into this new office here. And as I'm schlepping my stuff upstairs, I realize I have all this stuff and I just want less. And here's, a big box of journals. And I'm like, why am I keeping all these journals? And a lot of books and journaling and, notes from trainings I've taken and certain files I have for past clients. I'm getting really ready to let all of it go because it's not relevant to right here, right now. It's not relevant to just showing up and trusting my knowing, right? I'm keeping all of that stuff for like a what if, or what if I need it, or what if I need to refer to it. Yet I'm a living, breathing creation of newness, of expansion. I will never need anything in those journals except maybe to show them to my kids that this is where I was, this is where I am. Maybe that would be interesting to them, that like life, we grow, we develop, we expand, we awaken, we become enlightened. So perhaps, I don't know, I think I might be ready to let go of all of those journals, all of those files of old information, because I don't think they're relevant anymore. So where in your life is your past becoming irrelevant? Where in your life are your files, whether physical files or files in here, becoming irrelevant? The more you awaken, the more you remember who you are. Because you know in all your deepest knowing that all you really have to do for people in your life, for clients, for anything in your life, you really just need to be willing and have the courage to show up. So, moving into this office helped me realize that life can get a lot simpler, and I can be ready to let go of old pictures, old journals. And my dog this morning let me know that just showing up, just bringing my energy into a room, can have a huge teaching moment for people, a huge aha awakening moment. It could just contribute and serve so well just by showing up. So let's each take an action step. Do you want to? So let me know in the comments what you got out of this and what you're willing to just show up for in a way that you thought you had to be all prepared, right? How many times do we walk into something in our lives where we think we have to be so prepared? I want to challenge you to walk into that unprepared. Okay, so just walk in. Another story just came to my mind. So my first son, he's 17. He's going to be 18 in September. And when he was born, he's the first child. I had a home birth. The midwife and my sister, she was the assistant. They both thought it was going to be like, a 24-hour journey. Well, I went for a walk that night, tried to go to sleep, and boom, water broke. I was like, what is happening? And my son was on his way. So I called the midwife and she's like, oh yeah, just relax into this. It's going to take a while. And I start going through contractions and I start kind of moving sound. And she's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'll be right there. That sounds further along than we are. My sister walks in at the time and she walks in. She has a didgeridoo. She has a bag of books and CDs and music and she's ready. She is prepared and she is ready. Guess what? She didn't need any of those things. She was prepared. Something in here told her to be prepared, right? She didn't need any of those things. I gave birth within 4 hours. It was so active. There wasn't time to blow the pool up. There wasn't time to play the didgeridoo. There wasn't time to do the shaker from Belize. There wasn't a time to do ritual. There was no time. It was so intense and it was 4 hours. First child out, and it was, my sister was a little like in shock, and none of that stuff was needed. Sometimes all that preparation, all she really needed to do was show up. Now, the second kid came 3.5 years later, and he came 2 weeks early. And my sister had just came back from Central America, and she was at Target. And I called her and I said, you know, I give birth like really easily. Sometimes it just feels like I have a stomach ache. So I'm like, you know, I have a stomach ache and it kind of feels similar to the first one, but it's probably nothing. And she's like, I'm coming right over. So again, it was a home birth. Midwife comes. My sister comes over. She gets there completely unprepared, gets to the house and just holds space. Just shows up. She wound up being the complete assistant because the second midwife couldn't get there. And she winds up helping deliver the child, my second son. And she's kind of like in awe of what just happened because it took literally 30 minutes from beginning to end. 30 minutes prior, she was at Target. And then 30 minutes later, she's holding her nephew. And so the difference between those births, you know, showing up so prepared, and then the second one just showing up, and that what was required the most was just the showing up. So if you feel like you're not ready or you're not prepared, or yet you have this pull and this awareness that you want to go do, be something in life, but you don't feel prepared, I'd say throw that thought out the window and just be willing to show up. And show up every day for yourself in the morning, on your meditation pillow, on your meditation walk. Meditation is nothing more than just spending time in presence with your sovereign source self. So however you do that, make sure to spend time with that and then show up. Show up for yourself, show up for others, show up for the world. You have a beautiful, beautiful light to shine and share. And all you have to do is really show up, and the rest will be revealed as it goes. And for that second birth, my sister showed up from Target, didn't even have time to think, and she showed up, got into the room, and realized what was next, what was next, what was next. And she said something to me during the birth. She showed up, witnessed something, and then said something to guide me and opened me wide open to just have my son come out like that. It was pretty amazing. She knew just what to say at just the right time. She showed up and created ease in this birth process with nothing more than herself. So beautiful being, are you willing to be the potency of yourself? Are you willing to be? Are you willing to just show up, whether you're prepared or not? and remembering who you really are. All right, beautiful being. Please don't forget, on Fridays, I go live. So you're welcome to ask me any question. And then at the end, I do a sound healing with my voice. So be sure to subscribe and click the bell here so that you can know when I go live on Fridays. It's sometime between 11 and 2 in the afternoon, Mountain Standard Time. And so I would love to have you there and be part of the conversation. And I usually pick some kind of juicy awakening ascension topic for us to kind of dive into. So I'd love to have just a really active conversation tomorrow for that live. Although who knows when you're listening to this. So whatever the next Friday is, come on over and join the live stream, whatever Friday is for you. All right, beautiful one. Namaste.